Causes of poverty in America. Poverty has many causes and is a complex social problem. There is both absolute and relative poverty in the United States, though it is widely known that income inequality is increasing. This blog will discuss the causes of poverty in America, including low-wage jobs, race and class, reliance on government aid, and institutional discrimination. Poverty in America caused by corruption. Poverty in America is caused by corruption and a disparity between the rich and the poor. In order to have an understanding of the cause of poverty, it is imperative to first understand the difference between poverty and material wealth. Material wealth can be measured by the abundance of personal goods that a person has. Poverty, on the other hand, is measured by a lack of goods and income. The amount of corruption in America today has caused the rise of poverty throughout the nation. Since corruption is so prevalent, it infects businesses, politicians, and social life. 50 million Americans live below the poverty level. Source: U.S. Census Bureau. A country that can spend billions of dollars on war, bail out huge corporations, take out loans from countries that oppose us, yet does nothing to end homelessness or hunger. Something isn't right. It's called corruption. The two main parties are playthings for the most corrupt. Causes of poverty in America. Poverty in America caused by lack of good jobs. With today's tough economy, and more American families struggling to make ends meet, it is clear that poverty in America has reached a record-breaking high. According to a study conducted by the National Poverty Center at the University of Michigan, less than half of Americans can afford their basic needs without help from outside organizations or financial support from government benefit programs such as food stamps or Medicaid. A large part of this problem is caused by the lack of good jobs for American citizens. The American dream is slipping out of reach for too many people. While the gap between the richest and poorest Americans is growing, both sides need to take more responsibility to help everyone succeed, from tackling poverty to strengthening our education system and expanding job opportunities. Poverty in America caused by weather/climate change. Poverty in America is a widespread issue and is quickly becoming a crisis. Weather and climate changes have devastated life for many people all over the country, causing homeless rates to skyrocket. The cost of living has risen as well due to more severe weather conditions such as fierce hurricanes, snowstorms, and tornadoes affecting agriculture production. This combination of events has made it harder for the poor to cope with their current situation, and lifelong poverty levels are rising. A variety of ideas have been proposed on how to solve poverty among the poor in America. Some suggest that giving money to the needy should be reinstated once again so that those who are suffering can feed their families. Others believe that legislation that is affordable will help make living conditions more suitable for poor households so they will be better off financially. Some want stricter welfare laws and harsher penalties imposed on those who commit crimes while being on public assistance. Most agree that extreme poverty is still an unsolved problem in the United States, but there is still hope in many solutions offered by politicians, supporters, and those involved in government assistance programs. Poverty in America caused by social injustice. Poverty, the lack of an ability to provide the basic necessities of life, can be seen throughout America. In 2008, approximately 9.9% of U.S. citizens were living in poverty, and the numbers continue to grow each year. The government defines poverty by an income that is 2 times lower than the basic need threshold, an income that families need to pay for rent, food, and other necessities such as clothing and medical care. There are numerous causes of poverty. Some relate to specific inequalities created through situations like economic oppression, while others are more universal circumstances that occur throughout societies. Ed Wilson from UC Berkeley argues that social injustice is the major cause of poverty in America. Billions of dollars annually go towards assisting Americans living in poverty. However, this money is not distributed fairly among all social groups in society. Poverty in America caused by lack of food and water. Poverty is a condition that exists when people lack the money and resources to obtain basic human needs for living. Approximately 48.4 million people live below poverty in the United States, which is about 14% of our total population. Poverty causes many other social problems such as crime, childhood hunger, and poor health care. Since people facing poverty do not have access to basic needs, they are 4 times more likely to abuse substances such as tobacco and alcohol. Causes of poverty are important to know so that we can control them. Poverty in America caused by lack of government support. A lack of government support partly explains the widespread poverty in America. If the government cut welfare programs to pay for the war in Iraq, a lot more people would be in deep trouble. Understanding the causes of poverty in America can provide solutions for change. American states have 30 programs that aid low-income families with children. 10% of children live in poverty, and 35% are very low income. The number of Americans living in extreme poverty is expected to double from 2% 3%. Reforms must come from the federal government to address the growing issues of poverty in America. Poverty in America is more severe than generally realized because the government does not provide sufficient support to families below a certain level of income. In the United States, there is a stigma surrounding poverty. The media portrays the poor as lazier and less hardworking than average Americans, and those that are not from impoverished areas view the impoverished as lazy or in need of motivation. Some people simply do not understand or care about the struggles of being poor. This can lead to an overall lack of empathy for those living in poverty. While some individuals may avoid discussing these issues, it is critically important to understand American poverty because these issues will not go away without action from the public and from policymakers, such as passing legislation that offers increased financial support or improves educational opportunities for the poor. In order to save our planet for future generations, we need to reduce the causes of poverty. Poverty in America caused by inequality. Theft, fraud, and abuse by the powerful can be perpetrated so long as they are insulated from the disastrous consequences of their unethical and selfish actions. At least that's what the wealthy elite seems to believe, as they pull up all of the ladders behind them. For example, there is a stunningly high rate of poverty in America caused by inequality when 1% of the population owns 34% of all wealth in the USA. The Center for American Progress examined poverty rates among families by race and ethnicity, income, age, and educational attainment. The organization found that there are stark differences in the poverty rates for different demographics. There are, of course, still a lot of causes: family structures and structures in general, cultural values, racial/ethnic discrimination, and many others. However, inequality, the growing disparity among races and classes, in America particularly, appears to be a key factor in poverty. Poverty in America caused by lack of education. Poverty occurs when individuals and families have an inadequate level of income. Many factors influence poverty, such as lack of education, unemployment, low-paying jobs, or lack of affordable housing. Tackling the root causes of poverty requires measures to prevent it. Past studies have suggested that lack of education is a major cause of poverty in America and that poorly educated Americans have much lower levels of family income, are more likely to be unemployed, and are less likely to marry and raise children in two-parent households. Steven Pinker, The Blank Slate, p. 75. However, many researchers believe that behavioral differences between individuals contribute substantially to the variation in socioeconomic status.